Hello, I'm Chrissy Seaton. Thank you for watching this video. There are 13 principles of faith that apply equally to both Jews and Noahides. So where did these 13 principles or 13 foundations of faith come from? Well, there was a rabbi, Moses ben Maimon, M-A-I-M-O-N, who was born in 1135 and died in 1204 Common Era. Now, he is known as Maimonides or Rambam, or R-A-M-B-A-M. And that's an acronym for his name. So Maimonides and Rambam are one of the same. They are Rabbi Moses ben Maimon. And he compiled these principles of faith. And we're going to take a look at those today, briefly, due to time constraints. But what I have suggested is that you follow the link in the description box and go to my website, mynoahidefamily.com, and there I have provided a link where you can access the complete explanations of these principles of faith, and that will allow you to read the expanded version. What I'm talking to you today about is just a brief overview of those principles. So, I also want to give credit to Rabbi Laser Brody for his comments, which you will be able to read in this document. He has provided some very helpful comments in that, so full credit to him for that. So what are these 13 foundations or principles of faith by Maimonides? Well, let's take a little look at those, shall we? The first one is to believe in the existence of God, or Hashem, as we say. So believe in the existence that there is actually a creator who sustains everything that exists, who brought everything into being. Nothing exists without our creator, without Hashem. And there are biblical references to that throughout these principles, but I'm not going to quote all of those while I'm speaking, because all those references are going to be listed in this document that you can access through my link on the website. So, in other words, the first principle of faith is nothing exists other than God. Now, the second principle is that God is one. He's only one. There's no other. He's not divisible by anything or anyone. So, one entity. The third principle tells us that God is not physical. In other words, he doesn't have a corporeal body. However, we do sometimes or often say, in God's loving arms, or God sees us, God hears us. We use physical terms, which are metaphorical expressions to meet human speech and understanding. So although we may say, God reaches out his hand to us, we're using that in a term that we as human beings can describe. But in actual fact, he doesn't have hands or feet. He's non-corporeal. The fourth principle is that God is first. So there is that is the abode of God, that he is first, he is only, and that he's eternal. He's always been there, he is always there, and he will always be there. God is never ending. The principle number 5 is based on the prohibition of idolatry, and that describes about how we only serve God. We don't serve anyone else. God is the one, only true God, and there's no intermediaries, no helpers, no subsidiaries to the Godhead. It is one entity. God is one. Principle number 6 talks about belief that God communicates with man through prophecy. And that, of course, we could use the famous example of Moses. So God does communicate to man in a very special, high level. And when we move in now to principle number 7, we'll continue to speak about Moses. And we say that Moses is the father of all prophets. And he's our teacher. Moses is our teacher. And it's quoted in Torah that God spoke mouth to mouth to Moses. He didn't appear to him in a dream, or he wasn't overcome with some veil of secrecy or hearing voices or anything like that. God and Moses spoke face to face. And it is also this biblical references to this. It says, and God spoke to Moses face to face as a man speaks to his friend. And that is very important. That should tell us a lot. Principle number 8 is that we have to believe in the divine origin of the Torah. And here again, we speak about Moses because, as I've previously mentioned in further previous videos, that God spoke through Moses. God gave Moses the Torah for us all. So, and God, as we know, we said God spoke face to face with Moses. We talked about that in principle number 7. Number 8, we have to believe in that divine origin of the Torah. In other words, it was dictated to Moses by God himself face to face. And it is eternal. It is truth. It is the only truth, the Torah. Number 9, principle number 9, the Torah is true and there can be no additions to it, no subtractions, no alterations or tweaking or misquoting. Nothing must be altered. The Torah is eternal. The Torah cannot be changed, and that is a standing requirement. Principle number 10, it says that God is all-powerful and all-knowing. And, I've often used the quote that, don't think you can hide under the bed from God, because you can't. He sees and knows everything, our deepest thoughts, probably knows what we're thinking before we even think about it ourselves. So principle number 11 is to believe in divine reward and punishment. In other words, we must understand that we have commandments to follow. If we break those commandments, depending on which one it is, there is going to be divine punishment, heavenly punishment. And we need to be mindful of that. Sorry, that's my little dog. Principle number 12 is that we must believe in the coming of Mashiach. It will happen. It is going to happen. And even though it seems like that time is never going to happen, we must know that Mashiach will come and will be crowned king. And he'll be anointed as the king. Many people think Mashiach only just means one person. The Mashiach is a term, the anointed one. So many people are anointed. It's a terminology, but the Mashiach that we are talking about will openly be anointed as the king. And he will be a human being, a flesh and blood human being. And principle number 13, the final one, is that we must believe in the resurrection of the dead. And again, that is very important, that we prepare for our afterlife, or for the life in the new world. And our relationship with God helps us to understand these things and helps us to lead a better life. As Noahides, it assists us in making the world a better place, in making our community a better place, in making our family a better family. It's that relationship we have with Hashem. And these 13 principles are really a yardstick that we go by. I want to also point out that based on these 13 principles, there is a little prayer. Well, it's based on these principles of faith. It's called I Believe, and it is available to download from kabad.org, and I'll have that link on the website as well for you to look at. And it's also placed in this little prayer book, Prayers, Blessings and Principles of Faith for Noahides by Rabbi Moshe Weiner. And this is a little prayer book for all occasions. And on page 6 of it, I beg your pardon, it talks about the awareness of God and the Noahide path. And it talks about the principles of faith and their importance to us as Noahides. So we need to be aware of them, and we need to, I know many of you are probably well aware of them, but I think it's timely that we remind ourselves about it every now and then, and certainly saying that prayer, I believe, reciting that's an important thing. It's recommended that you do it perhaps when you have your regular prayer time, or in the morning if that's when you pray. So it is important that we understand that they are equally pressing upon Jews and Noahides. One other thing I just want to mention to you, usually as of today, you'll note that I usually put my videos up each week on a Wednesday around 1 or 2 p.m. Australia time. I am going to change the day to Thursday from next week on to fit in with other things that I have going on in my schedule each week. So you won't get a video next Wednesday, but it'll be Thursday, and I'll put it up between 2 to 3 p.m. approximately that time. Thank you for understanding, and I hope I haven't inconvenienced anyone by changing the day I publish the videos, but it's just necessary for me to manage my time a little bit more skillfully. Thank you again for watching my videos. I do appreciate it, and I read all your comments, and so does Thomas. And I am always pleased that they are a benefit to people, and if there's anything I can ever do or to answer questions, please don't hesitate to leave a comment. And please, all of you, take care, and God bless.